Welcome everybody to Mudflood was Armageddon. Welcome anybody to Mudflood was Armageddon. Formerly Flat Earth Nation, Golden Age past. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. I had a good video planned out for this morning. And since Soy Free Thoughts didn't say, I can't hear you, maybe you can hear me. Although it's not the best microphone, I found out my headset, there must be something wrong. It's time to get a new one. But before we show the pictures, I'm going to show you the tabs for today. This one is about how they made glass from mining to silica. We're not going to cover all of that. We have to look at what is radiation. You know, you think it only comes from rocks. Well, in physics, radiation is the emission or transmission of energy. Somehow they're radiating us. I've got this whole electromagnetic radiation thing pulled up so I can, we can just look at some of the pictures and we'll act like, whoa, I get it. I get it. Well, we get something. We're in motion. Modulation, that's going to be a key. Passband modulation, we'll look at that. I want to do the spoiler alerts before we get into the inertial navigation systems. Their recent history and, okay, all right, we talk about that a lot. Say what? The telegrapher's equation from diffusion to a wave. Yeah, interference much. I can't give away too much. A holdover from the Cleveland. Yeah, we were going to study this, I guess. I don't know if we got into how much. Boy, I don't know what they were doing in the rest of the world, but in London, in Britain, Prince Albert Victor, eldest son of the Princess of Wales, second in line to the British throne. The Tang Dynasty, what's that? The study of homosexuality? Well, that's what came out of the Cleveland Street and the history of the LGBT. Well, we know that, it's been around for a long time, but the real question is, I wonder why and how and, We'll look at some of it. We can't get it, I'm going through some of the tabs. We're going to get back to the induction motor that, and I'll be tying it into how you're a magnet, you're a Mobius strip, your heart has been changed by God or not. And if it has, you'll respond and you'll look into these things more than just like, I want to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about on flat Earth. Wave interference is a big thing. Touched on it today, got interrupted by the bad microphone. Diffusion, bulk flow. You will be assimilated. There's electrons. Amplitude, attitude, homeodialysis, saving it. We're going to try to walk through these later. I know that you've heard about divergence, about emergence. What is that? Systems theory, art, emergence. We'll look at it. We'll remind you of what divergence is. Everything always in flux. We'll see. Who knows? I hope you have your pen out in case something doesn't happen. Where's my disclaimer? I do need my disclaimer. Fair use disclaimer right there.
I got a little carried away explaining the inner workings of the institution to Jim. Get out of my chair!
It's a condition of mental divergence. I find myself on the planet Ogo, part of an intellectual elite, preparing to subjugate the barbarian hordes on Pluto. But even though this is a totally convincing reality for me in every way, nevertheless, Ogo is actually a construct of my psyche. I am mentally divergent in that I am escaping certain unnamed realities that plague my life here. When I stop going there, I will be well. Are you also divergent, friend?
Now, did anybody notice what's going on with this guy back in the mirror? You know, because it goes from the shot to this guy here. I believe it's him in the mirror.
I am mentally divergent in that I am
That's the same
escaping
guy?
certain unnamed realities that plague my life here. When I stop going there,
We're going to look at this guy, Harry Nyquist. You're not going to believe what he came through. It's amazing. It's crazy. Oh, man. There's some good news. How you doing, RJ? What's
I thought you were going live at 4:30, but
I meant
I
your
took the dog for the hound for a hike, and then yeah, well,
Yeah, I meant your time. Oh, did I put down 4:30 in that text?
no, I caught it in the algorithm, but I don't know. Why? How long have you been going?
7 minutes. Just getting started.
Oh,
Just haven't even.
maybe it was 4:20. Maybe it was 4:20. Okay.
Yeah, I was going, because it's 3:20 here, but it's 4:20 there, and I figured, I'll just tie in the marijuana reference, Why not? But anyway, welcome aboard. It's good to see you. The famous Randy from Wisconsin, everybody. Hey, 12 Monkeys, you just missed it. Divergent scene, and I did the whole fair use symbolism and everything, man. I want you to have to see it, though, because
Well, no, that's okay. Whatever.
oh no,
Whatever.
yeah, because it already got somebody else liked it too. That's not it. That's not it.
Because when I clicked on, I recognized Bruce Willis, so I
You already saw
must
it.
have been some years ago.
Are you? And Brad Pitt.
Jim.
Okay.
I don't really come from outer space.
Oh.
Yeah, so he explains to him mentally divergent. I didn't get to show him. He laid his head on his shoulder. He asked him, "Are you divergent?" I don't know what that had to do with anything, but I'm just showing tabs because I was talking about emergence. Emergence looks good, and then there's divergence, and that's not as good. We're also going to look at Harry Nyquist, communication theory. They got a whole communication theory. You might know it from this joke of a joke. We'll just touch on it. This comes out of duality, really, homeology, chomology. It basically, we need to get to duality and how they see it in math when they do their theorems in there. All their grand thinking, testing functions, pulling back, dropping bombs, topologically, ontologically, metaphorically. That's my dumb algorithm. We got to get into the Tesla turbine and the bladeless centripetal flow turbine invented by, they say, Nikola Tesla in 1913. We'll try to get into it because, I mean, where would we be without somebody that understood, what did they call it? Rational movements. Well, that looks pretty straightforward. Randy, I bet you could take that apart and fix it up in no time. It looks a little dusty around the bolts there. You're going to be on Wikipedia, man. Dress this thing up. They had to dust off the Tesla coil from the Tesla Museum. I'm just showing tabs. I'm getting warmed up, showing that we have to talk about the boundary layer in physics and fluid mechanics. What is the thin layer of fluid doing between anything else and everything else in the whole world? It's in the immediate vicinity of a bonding surface. Well, good. How to get there? Why is it everywhere? How come everything has it? So the fluid interaction with the wall induces a no-slip boundary. Also look at what exactly is fresh water. Renewable and variable, but finite natural resource. Fossil water. What? Then I was like, I don't even know. Did this really just, it started out, plaid motor. That was kind of close. I looked at it. I think I just decided I typed in something and searched for water. Maybe that was another water. So this is a Nikola Tesla page that's not on Wikipedia, so can't say everything's from Wikipedia. Why engineers and electricity transport the electricity in three-phase cables. I'm going to save you a lot of time and let you know we're not going to touch on this very long because, wow, this is much easier to understand. This is a better one. So, and I like it because it's got pictures. And, I think that we learn a lot from looking at these things, because the amplitude, it's just things that pretty soon maybe we'll see it in 3D. But electricity, your full load, your full torque, I think I blew that one up. The whole AC-DC argument, alternating current. Let's hear what they say about it. Is an electric current, okay, that periodically reverses direction and changes its magnitude continuously with time, in contrast to direct current, which flows only in one direction. Alternating current is the form in which electric power is delivered to businesses and residences. Pretty good. Well, can you give me any more detail? The usual waveform of alternating current in most electric circuits is a sine wave whose positive half-life corresponds with the positive direction of the current, and vice versa. The full force is called a cycle. In certain applications like guitar amplifiers, different wave, they could be more vague. I don't know how. Electrical energy distributed. Nowhere in here, though, does it say AC electric is safe and it doesn't bleed that interference. Because we can go back a long way to these induction motors and who actually, so they give something else to Tesla. Does it really matter, when and where, if what I started out with and what we, should be contemplating, tying it into Star Force lies? Why would they tell us all the Tesla Atlantis UFO crap if in reality it was just a radiation thing? And then we're going to end up looking at a little bit more of the book I wrote in 2008 Quote, she asked, who knows what we do at the Hospital of Hope? Jimmy raised his hand, and when Lucia had motioned to him, he answered, you study the virus that caused the second dark age and provide a safe place for people who are sick. That is how we can keep it from spreading again. Boom, did boom, a lot of other things here. And she goes, well, very good. That is part of what we do. Would anyone like to guess what we consider our most important work? They think about it, they think about it. Finally, her son thinks, what could be more important than studying the virus? Finally, he looked up and he said, Mother, are you remnants? Everyone was silent until she said, a very good guess. And you were close. The group that I proudly belong to used to be part of the remnants, but we sadly had to split from them. Our group, she continued with her hands spread out as if to include the whole Hospital of Hope, is called the True Believers. You see, we're the group that fought against the World League and felt they were moving too fast in letting the world rediscover some of the truth of the last age. We were right in our fear, as I am sure you have noticed. We'll look a little bit more at the history of the colonization of the United States by way of these guys. His big brother, really, John Smith, Pocahontas, but we want to look at Warroths. But now I guess I could look at some pictures and kind of go over, dang, I left up the comment. That's always distracting. But anyway, lot to cover, and I only have like about 45, 50 minutes left to go. What'd you think of all that, brother RJ?
Yeah.
If I can only deliver half of what I just promised, this will be the greatest show in history. I'm chugging water. I'm getting a drink and stuff right now, RJ. Hate to just leave you blank on the screen there, but I'm actually kind of busy here.
That's
So
fine.
what's
I
the-
have about 25 minutes. So,
Are you going to get hammered by the snow? I mean, the rain and stuff?
well, I did it earlier this morning because that kind of came on unannounced.
Oh boy, the worst kind.
Well, especially when you're up on the roof and you got it opened up. So,
Oh my goodness, that's right.
so
Shelby,
yeah.
you got it all worked out though, right? Kind of?
Yeah, then I was gonna go back at it after it kind of cleared up, and then it got dark, and I thought I'm done doing that for today. And now it's getting dark again.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah, we're going to speed through this because I might want to come back tonight and include some Bible study. And this was quite the thumbnail.
it looks like some sort of ink blot that the
Dropped
shrink
into
would
dropped
give
in
you to.
water. Yeah, it's I think the three primary colors dropped into water in different amounts, and it just struck me as crazy. So here's some of the, just visualize the electromagnetic field, the M, because you, not just only you, RJ, but every human, and especially the adopted ones whose hearts have been changed to realize there are trillions of living pneuma inside of us that count on us. That's a lot. And then it's like they're magnets too, and they're flipping around. Everything's just going crazy. But even this fluctuating electromagnetic field that I thought was like so cool, because it's one way you can think, you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. Then when you see it in 3D, it's like, I thought I did. But see, the electric wire is always losing. It's bleeding. Somehow, when this transfers somehow when they do it leaches out. Look, this is what causes. I was going like, what am I going to study? I got a bunch of stuff, and I think I'm all caught up at school. And I did those. Remember those lectures I had to listen to about corporate policy? Because I guess I'm in the corporation of the university now, and everybody has to do this once a year. So I got that all done, and then I decided, you know what, I should type in fresh water under the ocean. So I searched that, and this is what it popped up. This is probably a computer. Fresh water exists beneath the ocean floor, with estimates suggesting that nearly 120,000 cubic miles of fresh water buried there. Nice grammar, computer. More than the sun evaporates from the Earth's surface each year. Huh, who knew? I just wanted to get water, and it kind of reminded me, you know, there's water at the bottom of the ocean. From a song by the Talking Heads. That's a band from the 1970s and the 1980s. I wonder if that RJ got bumped off the. He did.
Yeah, whether it's weather near me or what, but yeah, I'm back. Something went wrong.
Something went wrong this morning when I was trying to do my video. It was.
Yeah, I caught that.
You caught that disaster. Okay, so
Yeah,
I just thought that looked like, you know, there's the water under the ocean, everybody. That's the bottom of the straw. If you wanted to drink fresh water, that somehow the salt water doesn't leak down there, but it gets down there. 120,000 square miles. This picture, I could have used it. No, I didn't even want to use that one. I used the other one. Tesla motor. Nice, you know, the pillars and everything, you know, it's just nice job. There he is. I just thought, what is going on here? He's like, this guy is trying to say, no, when you shake my hand, your thumb goes here, and I can't figure out what's going on here. It looks like his hand is up here. Is he trying to? That's Nikola Tesla. Is that the famous broken nose boxer?
I have no idea.
I have no
I
idea.
recognize Tesla, but that's about it.
Looks like a skeleton head in the back. I think they're playing with us. I don't know though. Free energy. So it's the Tesla energy thing. We're getting into that. I just thought that this was an interesting view because it reminded me of a virus, the way it has the head, the body, and the way it.
See, I was thinking you were going a different direction with between the AC and the DC. Well, I thought you were going to come up with a third, whatever, electricity, what that the body or animals or everything else is, but maybe.
Well, I'll keep going. What are you
But
talking
I was speculating in my mind, but just not out loud until just recently.
What do you think that is? Because we're some sort of, we don't even understand light. I mean, we can go like, look, it divides, it's a wave, it's the pure light, the dual split experiments blow us all away. But everything about life blows us away as, bottles of glass used to be so hard, but, these guys will tell you, even, these ground lenses, that's one thing, but these type of bottles, the regular bottles, they make 700,000 a day by.
Well, just like what you're mentioning, light, the biblical, the greater and lesser light, for uh, seasons and what have you, where two totally different, one you have a hot light, the other one you have a cool light. Not meaning that it's, gee, that's neat, cool, but temperature, cool.
And putrefying, some say.
Yeah, right. But you weren't going that direction either.
No, I was just playing with the fact that I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to try to tie it into the radiation poisoning that's coming into our heads from the cell phones and the Wi-Fi. That's a bleeding out of the electricity. It's not all completely clear to me right now, but I am super suspicious that I'm right. But I don't know what I'm right about, but except, maybe that AC wasn't as the best choice. And we shouldn't just be patting Tesla on the back going like, yay, you enabled the form of electricity that gets the interference to bleed right into our noggin. Thanks, man. I wanted to read, though, at the beginning, where did this light come from? When is it first mentioned in the Bible? It's mentioned right there in verse 3, because verse 2, it just says, here's the formless, voided earth. Some people make a big deal out of that. I'm one of them, but I just don't talk about it that much. And darkness.
Well, yeah, but I'm, I dropped a comment where on a video earlier this afternoon and he was saying kind of the same thing about the first verse in the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and and then my comment was paraphrasing. Now, if anyone, really actually wanted to know, how God created what He created as far as everything here in Earth, you'd go to Job chapter 38 and read through 41. Which is nothing like, that generic Genesis 1:1.
You're just breaking up and glitching a little bit, I think, because of the storm, but we got the most of it at the very end. Yeah, there's so many people that you can read the scripture and sound like a genius, but I was listening to, like, the Christadelphians. Are you familiar with the Christadelphians? They're Christians who aren't rapturous. They're really into music. They're not into the Trinity at all. I think they're just a happy, fun group, and they're just really into singing. And
you're breaking up also.
Oh, maybe I'm probably just breaking up on your end because of the storm. But I was listening to one of their sermons today, and he ended up going back to solve an argument to prove scripture by using the globe and how, and it's like, they're just not at all.
Why would you do that?
Right. You're so right on every other thing, and you're sticking to the Bible, and you pray for miracles, but you don't speak in tongues and cast out demons, but you're still just globe loving. Though I don't know.
Yeah.
The carburetor. I hope he's talking about the induction motor. I'm still looking at pictures. I'm glad to have you back. Hey, this is another channel. Here's some things that Christians shouldn't do. They can't do. Can't make America great again. anyway, this was going to be an interesting story, but somehow I let it get. Oh, be prideful is one. Maybe I am on the right track. Can't do no gossip and slander. That's bad. Don't be greedy or materialistic. Don't hold grudges. Practice witchcraft. Lie or deceive. Get divorced for non-biblical reasons. In sexual immorality, stealing, adultery, murder, dishonor parents, and then now we got this one. The Sabbath day doesn't remember a seventh day and keep it holy. I wish, I hope I was sharing that. Boy, everybody just bled away. Now we only a few people hung on through that and wanted to listen. But I wanted to say the seventh day isn't a Sabbath. You keep every seventh day. If the first day of the week is and you're keeping it once a week, how many days is that in between? And it is always only, for me at least, going to be not only is Christ everything else we always talk about, but we need to talk about more as Christ is our Jubilee. And something better came after, and that's why we switched our 7-day pattern to the new day that they met on. 7 times 7 is 49, and then that next year of release of Christ our Jubilee it's more of an argument that no one should dig in and say it's got to be only on Saturday or Sunday. You don't have to agree with me because I can't make them believe that what I think is so clear in the scripture. So I was looking for your opinion on that.
Well, I'm fine with how you describe, yeah. As far as, yeah, how do we know what day of what they've been messing with, calendar wise? We know there are 7 literal days in a biblical week. I mean, there was countries that tried other sorts of like a 10-day.
Yeah, France.
That didn't seem real. I think the rest of the world has stayed with.
Yeah, RJ, that French experiment lasted like less than 2 years, and it ended up with run for your life. They're screaming off with your head. So the 7-day work week is, or not work week, the
7-day week,
6-day work week.
And it seemed like biblically, everything went by the moon phases, and that goes back to Genesis, for the greater and lesser. It just reinforces what
how you like to constantly, and I think wisely, remind us all about, and you even included it, I think, in the Truth Bomb and some of your writings about just if you stop and think about how the moon goes in and out, and the sun too.
Well, you're talking, north to south, in and out.
And for some reason, it seemed like it jumped in the last week to me. It's like all of a sudden,
one way out.
It's down by where it looks like it'd be over towers down in New Mexico. It's like, where are you just right there? Because, I first thing every morning when I'm making my coffee, I open the door to see if the moon is out.
Well, full moon yesterday, whether it was yesterday morning or evening, but whatever. Full moon was yesterday.
That whole time and clock stuff. Well, anyway, that's enough pictures. Let's try to get this electricity solved in the next 15, 20 minutes, okay?
Well, I have 10.
Okay. Okay, we got the shameless void, formless void. God said, let there be light. The interesting thing is that there was light. God saw that the light was good. He separated the light from the darkness. That's pretty distinct. And notice again, the first day, how, what you're always looking for, and that was the evening and the morning, it was the third day, and it was good. God saw it was good. The only thing that was good here was the light. The night that was separated, it's never called good. That was the morning and the first day. He called the light good. And he separated the good from the bad. That's the way I'm kind of reading that. In 10 minutes, because I'm going to muscle on here anyway, I want you to know that the radiation that I'm looking for, and that I think that that's why they wanted us to be afraid of radiation from their fake math, quantum physics, string theory, BS. It comes back to electricity and rays and math and muons and things that are leaking out of the wires that make it work faster and better than ever. But there is only one inevitable outcome in that situation. The mysterious leakage is going to increase, and that's the radiation that if you've already weakened your thalamus, your pituitary glands, your pineal gland, and hypothalamus, and it's all right here and everything where your phones go up to your head. I'm this close to wearing a tinfoil hat, man. Talk me down, RJ, if you want to.
Well, the only way I can talk you down is by changing the subject. So what I would suggest, sometime you do that comparison with Genesis, the first few verses of chapter 1, and then compare it how God is speaking to Job, where, as far as, the hovering over, void and whatever, and then where were you when I laid the foundations and stretched the line? That's all going behind the scenes between the void and the face of the deep, and what's
Well, I think those
first introduced
different creations.
Huh?
I think those are talking about two completely different creations.
Well, like some have come to the conclusion that what's going on at Genesis 1 was like shortly after a judgment thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of lean that way. I think I kind of teach that way and kind of, want people to be leaning that way with me, because we do have some pretty big reveals coming up, about as soon as the veil. But I mean, my goodness, RJ, I understand you are ready to go into the meat of the word, but until Do-Re-Mi is convinced that we're all on board with the milk, we're not going that far ahead yet. And that's good. That was a good one.
Did I talk you down?
Yes, you did. You did. And there's a time and a place. But right now, we still got, I'm still coming to grips with people that, I used to highlight, saying, oh, look at this. It's so cute she's teaching this. And they're insisting on calling it preterism. It's like nobody gives one darn about anything else I say. So I'm comfortable right now. Good. If I'm not appealing to the world, I am going to try to do exactly what God says. And that's why I'm going through diffusement, divergence, emergence, breaking this down, because it's going to be a matter of time. In fact, because everybody else can come and go. God brought the message. I'm his little Paco. I can walk to gold. And when the poop hits the fan, those other people living in the city making money and making their lives off of, which I consider as a form of plagiarism, just something that was not their idea. It wasn't given by God to them, and yet they run with it, make their life on it, while they live in the city going against everything the person it was given to, saying, don't get balled up in the big city like that, involved with the life of getting the money, of teaching something new, because they're only itching people's ears. If they're not getting down to the gospel, and instead of like does it really matter as long as you confess Jesus? If it's one God, three gods, 20 gods, two gods, Joseph Smith, Moroni, go ahead, Randy.
Well, yeah. When is there enough meat in the cauldron?
This guy, yeah, right. There's no more room in the city.
Fast a digital signal could be sent. The key which unlocked this answer was found not in the minds of the American and British venture capitalists. Rather, it was from the brilliance of a French mathematician.
There's another thing I've got to get into, and I might, because it is still kind of early and I could do my 7 o'clock show. This Nyquist, the English, going back to the Balkans with the Varara culture. I'm thinking of our friend from Finland, who I can't wait for Monday night. He has such a good title for it. He hasn't picked out a good title for the name of that show, and I'm going to use it. But I'm going to unveil it on Monday.
Sure.
The French had it going on. The Spain had it going on. Here we come. I'm counting us as the British.
Okay.
And the only thing, they got the rest of the world, and we come and get the United States and a little bit of the Virgin Islands and part of South America. And then it's like, who set us free? There's got to be more to it. Because looking at those big three, with actually Spain and France and Portugal, Spain.
Well, the Dutch were influenced, weren't they big in hauling the dark-skinned people around, allegedly? And
we're looking at, let's look at what they call 1492, when Queen Jezebela, Spanish, sent Christopher Columbus, not Italian, go get him, boys. And that wasn't for money. He was saying, you'll back me up and this will be worth it. And that's what the experimenters in science did. This was a tease. I am going to do something. And, I'm going to show you right now, because here's something, because, I had the professional cleaners come in and clean my house. I want to give me 1 second, RJ.
okay, I have a couple minutes yet.
Just 1 second. Because this is kind of a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I'll keep you busy. Yeah.
That's right. These are used notebooks from the last 8 months. I don't know if you can tell, but they're all filled out. And that's what I do. And whether people do it or not, I'm going to do some more writing, lay out these things tonight. And because it's this Memorial Day, tying into how God brought me into it with the military history of the war heroes in my family, of which I'm not, but what I trained for. But my father is, my son, or 6 of my uncles are. And for me to turn away from the United States and the military, what would cause that is only God. And now it's on. the God of storm, the wind God who comes in the cloud in judgment. That was what the Christadelphian pastor was teaching about. You know, and he opened up the portals of heaven and he tried to show it on a globe, which is what made me mad. You know, and I even am talking about it still now. But he's old. Jeez. He's got to be, he's older than you. He's got to be like 80 or something.
Okay. Been around.
Yeah. But the storms are on. This is the judgment. But more and more, I do think that although it's going to be bad, this election is going to go off, but it's going to infuriate more people than ever on an already, the insurance companies are, it's going to be like the final coup de grace of like, first the banks, now the credit cards, and finally even the,
the intensity, seems to, always ratchet up.
To admit, wow, it's all been fake. And that's what's coming, I think, where even the liberals will have to go.
Well, the Ponzi scheme, can't go on indefinitely.
So you got to break in the weather.
Well, it's getting darker here. I think it just started drizzling. So I probably should cut out because Joan's going to be coming on, and I think we might end up going to Fond du Lac. But if the weather is again nasty like what they're forecasting, we might just stay put and do it tomorrow or a different time. But
we'll just wing it. I'm gonna wrap it up now too. Save these for later. See what else the Lord adds, because I do have some things I have to get going around here too. And it's Friday night on a 3-day weekend. I don't think I need to start at 7. You're not going to be available because it's Memorial Day.
Well, I can't commit. I can't commit.
But you might be up a little bit later, around like 10 o'clock or something.
That could be the scenario exactly.
All right, everyone, I want you to know we love you like the Rock of Ages right here on the Flat Earth Nation with the Golden Age past, because the mud flood was Armageddon. I wish I had time to add about, and that means there was a reaping and a remnant. And here we are. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao.